Hal Wilson, no specific organisation, just the general population within the Biddulph Moor area.
But you're very involved with a local campaign group. Just explain very briefly about that.
Basically, the group is ordinary residents in the area who decided they were not happy with what was happening to do with gas extraction in our area, and a lot of people wanted to try and resolve that situation.
What's going wrong to do with that gas facility? Why did you have concerns, and why have you ultimately decided to raise these issues here in Brussels?
We have numerous concerns about the effect on the environment, about the effect on the local population, the effect on the water, the flowers and the fauna, and we felt that we had to do something about that.
And so how have you pursued it, and how has that led to you coming to the European Parliament?
Basically, we've gone through the relevant processes with Staffordshire County Council. We feel that they've either been ignored or pushed to one side, and we felt that this was the best way we had of actually highlighting the issue and doing something about it.
You mention in your petition that you don't feel that Staffordshire County Council has gone through all the processes required under European law. Just explain where you think their main failings have been, and why that was such a concern for you and your fellow residents.
The fact that they paid scant attention to the environment, they did not consider the long-term implications of various applications. They treated them individually, but all the time they were bearing in mind the future applications, and it seemed that they just wanted to pass each one at each time and not put the whole lot together, which would have, in our view, elicited an EIA assessment.
Just bring us up to date then. Since 2011, what has happened in the intervening years?
In 2011, permission was granted early in the year to appraise the gas. When they started to work on that, they then found the gas was leaking. It was then decided, rightly or wrongly, that the only way that they could actually resolve that situation was to drill out the existing two boreholes drilled in the 80s by Shell, and then at the same time do the appraisal. That of course opened the door for further works. They then brought in a piece of equipment called a coil, which from memory was probably late 2012, and the coil had the ability to drill horizontally. The fact that we were told this was for safety reasons went nowhere to allay our fears that it could be used to drill horizontally, and we believe it was, although we don't know how far.
You've raised these issues with the EU. What kind of response did you get today from MEPs and from the European Commission?
I think we got a fair response. Unfortunately, their view was that so long as the very generic process was followed by the authority, the methodology used within that didn't really matter or did not fall under EU law. We believe that perhaps that there are areas within that could be looked at further, and I think the fact that the committee decided that they would leave the case open and would write to Staffordshire County Council to ask a few questions does give us some hope.
And on that hope, the hope you have for the future, do you feel that having come to the committee, you feel more focused on where you can perhaps focus your argument now in future, see where there may be issues that you can still pursue?
Yeah, I think we've certainly learnt a lot from today's meeting. There are things that perhaps we could have done that we didn't know about, but of course only time will tell. Certainly I would like to think that there will be other avenues we can now follow, having learnt the situation today.
To sum up, where would you ultimately like to see this going? What do you ultimately want to see happen?
In an ideal world, we would like the gas not to be extracted and not to have the equipment more in the countryside and potentially affecting the environment and potentially affecting the wildlife.